Yeah, hello team. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, your voice is audible.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So let's wait for a minute or two for others to join, and then we'll continue with our discussion. Yeah, but before that, friends. Meanwhile, I just want to get few details from you. Are you all students or you're working professionals? Yeah, friends. Are you from IT background or you're from non-IT? And are you students or you're working professionals? I just need this info. That's it. Won't trouble you much. Yeah. A fresher non-IT. Vijay. Very good, Vijay. Yeah. And okay. And others?
I'm also a working professional.
You are working professional, Karthik. Very good. And are you into IT, Karthik?
I'm already working in a startup.
Oh, okay. Okay. And Asif says I'm working as IT support engineer. Very good, Asif. I appreciate. Yeah. Yeah. Well, friends. So let's jump into our discussion. So this is a quick demo session where I'm going to talk about DevOps, one of the what's say in-demand skill set in IT, and I'm going to talk about cloud computing, and alongside with that, I'm going to discuss even about artificial intelligence. Okay, these are the three skill sets that are great in demand, and what are the possibilities when we learn DevOps and cloud. How are you going to have a bright future? What are the challenges that you may face with when you learn DevOps? Uh, all these I'm going to discuss in detail now. Yeah. So, friends, one more thing before we jump into the discussion, you have all the right to raise any questions because I just don't want to make this session a monotone session. I want you to interact too. At times, I may ask questions. Feel free to respond back to me, and if you have any questions or challenges, you have all the right to interrupt me and get your queries addressed. Okay. Yeah. Perfect, team. Let's jump in and let's get started. Let me share my screen. So let me know if my screen is visible or not. Yeah, friends, my screen is visible. Yes, no. And let me record the session. I think it's already getting recorded. Perfect. Yeah, the screen's visible, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect, friends. So let's jump in and let's get started. Let's go get some good discussion about DevOps and cloud platforms. So you can find the title DevOps and Cloud. Adapt DevOps culture to meet your business needs. So what does this mean? Let's understand in detail. So DevOps is a culture that is involved in software development to software delivery. It is a process. It's a cultural shift that organizations are adapting in software development to software delivery. Yeah. So now, if we understand what are the goals of any business, let's say if we take the example of Zomato or any e-commerce platform, every business runs on some goals, fulfilling some goals. What are the goals of a Zomato business? Their goal is to deliver food to the customers in time, ensuring quality packaging. What is the goal of a hospital? The goal of a hospital is to treat patients better so that they get more recognition, more patients visit their hospital, and they do more business. Right? What is the goal of let's say a banking firm? Offer better services to their customers so that they improve their customer base and they get more and more customers and they do more profits. So this way, what's every business, every business runs on some goals to fulfill. And now coming to a software company, the goals of a software organization are to deliver a software product to their clients faster, ensuring higher quality with cost optimization or lesser spending, and reduced outages. So I'll take one of your names and explain this way. So friends, let's say Vijay here. Vijay owns a business, which is, let's say, a men's clothing business. And Vijay wants to run his business online. He don't want to run his business just in one location. He want to run his business across the globe, or across India, throughout India. So now he need a website to run his business application online. Now Vijay approached me, and Vijay said, "Hey Prashant, I need an e-commerce platform where my customers are going to place an order online. I receive that order, and I ship that order to my customer. This way, I want to make my business online." Vijay is an expert in his line of business, but he is not an expert in what's say writing code, develop a software, develop a website or e-commerce platform, and run his business online. So he reached me. Now, me as a software company, what should I do? I got to make sure I deliver a software to my client faster, continuously. Next step, I got to make sure I'm delivering a quality software to my client. Right? Let's say Zomato, when they order, when they deliver food to you, let's say the delivery guy delivered food to you within a matter of 5 minutes, and when you opened that box, you found when you opened that bag, you found all the food is spilled in that bag. Do you accept it? Definitely not, because we need a quality product. Similarly, when I deliver a product to my client, I have to ensure that I'm delivering a quality software to my client. I got to test the software so frequently and deliver it to my client. Next, cost optimization or lesser spending. Meaning, when a client invests money, I got to make sure I spend less out of that investment. I should spend less out of that investment, because any business you take, the main goal of every business is to do profits, right? So as a software company, now let's say Vijay invested 10 lakhs for his e-commerce platform. Now what should I do? I should spend less, maybe at let's say 5 lakhs or so I spend on his application, and rest of the 5 lakhs is my profit. So how do I do that? By optimizing the cost factor in my application development to application release. And finally, reduced outage, meaning once I deliver a software to my client, I got to ensure that the software application of my client is always running. Yeah, friends, why so? We all use we all use applications like Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, right? And let's say if Paytm is not working, what you do? Let's say you did hundreds of transactions over Paytm for the last couple of months, and today Paytm is not working. What you do? You immediately shift, doing a payment from Paytm to PhonePe or Google Pay, because we as customers, end users, we don't have enough patience to wait until the software gets back to running state. Similarly, if Vijay's e-commerce site is down, what's happening? Customers of Vijay are visiting to another e-commerce platform. Like say, Karthik is also running such business, and now all customers of Vijay are shifting to Karthik's e-commerce platform. So that is where, when I deliver a product to my client, I got to ensure that the application of my client has no downtime. But it is impossible to run an application without a downtime. Definitely, there is some downtime, but I got to make sure that I reduce the downtime to a very minimal level by implementing some solutions and ensure that there is a lesser outage over my client's applications. Okay, these are the business goals that I should achieve as a software company. And how do I do that? How do I develop a software and deliver a software to my client? By adapting some software development models. So if anyone here from IT background, I mean, in your studies, if you studied BSc computers or BCA, you may have encountered such discussion, software engineering, in which every software company, they adapt some software development models to develop a software and deliver a software. Right? There are some software development models like waterfall, spiral model, V model, RAD, agile, etc., etc. Think of a software development model as a roadmap, as a route from one location to another location, right? Let's say, for example, I want to travel from Hyderabad to Goa. When I open Google Maps and search, the destination Goa, Google Maps, they propose me multiple routes. But what do? I pick a route that takes me to my destination faster. I pick a route that has lesser challenges, right? And I prefer to travel in that route. Similarly, even though there are a lot of models available, of the current times, we are choosing a software development model called Agile to develop a software and deliver a software to the client faster. Yep. So, what exactly is Agile software development, and what happens in when we adapt Agile? Let's try to understand it. But before that, friends, I would like to give some idea about a traditional way of software development too. So, in traditional SDLC, back in the past, like a few decades ago, we used to go by a traditional way of software development where we develop an entire software to a client at a time, and we use it to deliver that entire software to the client in one go at a time. That may take 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, we don't know. But in a traditional way of software development back in the past, software companies used to develop a whole software to the client at a time and deliver that whole software to the client at a time. And there are a hell lot of challenges with this traditional way of software development, and we are not adapting it of the current times. Yep, because technology keeps changing, and we got to adapt to the technology, right? How many of us are using Nokia 1100 phones even today? None of us, right? We move it to iPhones, we move it to what's the Android phones, touch phones, right? Because there's a drastic change in the technology, and we are all following the technological changes. Similarly, now coming to software development, friends, we are no longer using these traditional approaches of software development because there are hell lot of challenges with this with the traditional way of software development. I'll explain them in the regular classes though. But for now, what approach are we adapting of the current times? Means we are adapting an approach called agile. Software companies are adapting an approach called agile to develop a software and deliver a software to their clients faster. And organizations are relying on microservices rather than what say monolithic applications back in the past. Microservices meaning if at all I got to develop an application software for a client, what I do is I collect all the requirements from my client and break those requirements into multiple or what say break those requirements into multiple blocks and develop an application block by block and deliver it to the client. Something similar to say friends, when we go to a restaurant, what we do, we order food in an iterative fashion. Like first we order a soup. Once we are done with the soup, then we order a starter. Once we are done with the starter, then we order for the main course. Then we order for a dessert, right? In the same order, an application development to delivery is happening the same way. Okay. So team, I'm so sorry, I got an update here. Few more participants ready, but meeting is full. Can you please create a Google Meet and okay. So guys, just give me a minute. We'll continue. Just a minute. There are some more participants yet to join. We'll continue. Well, guys, so let's continue. So we are adapting a software development model called Agile of the current times. Majority of 90% of all the organizations are adapting Agile SDLC process. And what happens in Agile? In Agile SDLC, we don't develop an entire software at a time. Instead, we understand the priorities of the client, and based on the priorities of the client, we develop a software and deliver a software to the client in incremental fashion. I'll give you a quick example, friends, over here, just a small example. Let's say there is an apartment being constructed in a city, and apartment with around some 20 floors. Each floor, there are three flats, right? And you book it for one of the flat. You paid money and you invested for one of the flat, and when you're ready to occupy your flat, what's happening is you're getting rejected because let's say there's a government rule. There's a government rule that says once the entire apartment is completed, then the owners are owners should occupy their respective flat. If this is the rule, now what's happening, friends? Your flat is constructed, and when you're ready to occupy, what's happening is you're not entitled to occupy your flat because there is still construction going on over here. Some more flats are getting constructed, and you're not entitled to get into your apartment and occupy your flat. Right? So traditional way of software development is something like that. You should, organizations, they build an entire software with all the requirement. They build an entire software, and once the entire software is created, then only they consume that application software. But now coming to agile way of software development, there is no challenge as such. We deliver a product to the client in incremental fashion. First, we understand the priorities of the client, and we break the software into multiple blocks, and we develop and deliver each and every block in an iterative fashion. Let's say all these blocks towards the left comprise of one huge software. But what's happening here, team? We pick one of the block, the priorities of the client. We plan, write code, test, review that minimal software, and we deliver only that minimal software to the client. And the client starts his business with that minimal software. Followed by that, we start off with the second block. We plan, write code, test, review, and deliver that second increment to the client. So this way, in agile way of software development, the application is developed and delivered to the client in incremental fashion. Now, what is the advantage with this approach? If we develop and deliver a software to the client in this fashion, what is the advantage here? The advantage is the client is consuming his software. You delivered a minimal product, and the client started consuming that minimal product, and he started doing his business with that minimal product. Right? If there are any challenges the client is encountering, in the next iteration, we are correcting them, and we are delivering a quality product to the client. And the client is generating returns on investments from the minimal software that you delivered. As I said, let's say Vijay, he is willing to run his clothing brand online. And initially, Vijay told me that, hey Prashant, I need or I want to run only children clothing online. I don't want to run everything, all the products initially. I want a product with only children's clothing, and I want to start my business with children's clothing. I want to experiment. And once I delivered that minimal product to Vijay, he started off his business, selling children's clothing online. Followed by that, Vijay said, "Hey Prashant, now we are good. I'm ready to sell denims, jeans, and all. So develop that product and deliver it to me. And we are adding that product to the existing platform." Likewise, Vijay is now ready to sell, suits and some of the Raymond clothing suits and all, and we are delivering that product to the client. So in this fashion, now when we adapt agile, what's happening is Software development to delivery is no longer a one-time task. It is happening in a continuous fashion. Unlike before, unlike back in the past. Back in the past, it's a one-time task, but now it's no longer a one-time task. It's a task that keeps on happening over and over and over again until we deliver all the increments to the client. Until we develop and deliver the last increment to the client, software development to delivery is a continuous job. Okay. And now, in this continuous process of developing a software and delivering a software to the client, we are not the only ones involved, team. In a software development to delivery, it's not a task done by just one developer or one person. There are multiple teams involved. So, right? Development teams write code. There is a build team who got to create a product. There is a QA team who performs tests on a software. System engineers who got to set up infrastructure for all that pipeline of activities. Right? There are multiple teams involved in a software development to software delivery. And if all these teams work in proper coordination, well and good, you deliver a product to the client faster and better. If these teams are not properly aligned, what happens? Delivering a product to the client becomes extremely challenging. And such challenges were encountered in agile process. Agile is good. We are delivering a software in incremental fashion to the client, but unfortunately, in agile process, what happened is there came a lot of differences between the development teams, build teams, QA teams, system engineers, and so on. And these differences led in bringing a challenge to the business goals. We were unable to deliver a product to the client faster. We were unable to deliver a quality software to the client, right? And that impacted software organizations so badly. That's where they needed some approach to smoothen this journey of developing and delivering the software faster to the client, right? One of the challenges, differences between the teams involved in software development to software delivery, like developers, test team, build release managers, database administrators. There are a lot of professionals in a software development and release process. If these teams are not properly aligned, delivering a product to the client becomes extremely challenging, and agile faces that. And the second challenge is something like this, friends. Let's say I developed an application software for my client Vijay, and that application is working absolutely fine for me on my development platform. And now the same software should be tested by, let's say, Vadivel. He got to test that application before it is delivered to the client. And now Vadivel is reporting back to me saying that, hey, Prashant, it is not working. The software is not working. And when I'm reverting back to Vadivel saying that, hey, Vadivel, it's working absolutely fine on my machine. So what is the reason why a software works fine for one developer or one user, but the same software, why is it not working fine for the other users? So if we look into the, technical aspects of a software, see, friends, for example, I'll bring a site up here. There is a tool that we're going to learn in our DevOps journey called Jenkins, right? So just have a look here. There is this site called Jenkins, and if I want to consume this software, if I want to use this software, for every software, there are hardware requirements and software requirements. Now, what are the hardware and software requirements for this Jenkins application? Means, have a look here. At least 256 MB of RAM is required. 1 GB of storage is required. Alongside with that, it requires Java. And which version of Java? Either 17 or 21. Either 17 or 21 version of Java is required to run the latest version of Jenkins. Now, let's say here, Dinesh, on his laptop, he installed Java 11. And Vijay, he installed Java 21. Now, what's happening? Dinesh is reporting back to me saying that, hey, Prashant, Jenkins is not running. And Vijay says it's running absolutely fine on my machine. What is the reason here why a software behaves different across various platforms? If a software is not getting its expected dependencies, then softwares, they don't work as expected. So this is one more challenge that affected software organizations. in developing and delivering the software to the client faster. There is a problem. It works on my machine. A developer says it works on my machine, whereas a test engineer says it is not working on my machine. And to address this challenge, we needed some solution, yeah, to address the challenges of coordination issues and to address the challenge of these environment issues. We needed a solution, and that solution is DevOps. Yeah, friends, that solution is DevOps. So let's take a moment and read this definition real quick. DevOps is a set of practices that combine software development and IT operations. The main goal of DevOps is to shorten the SDLC. The main goal of DevOps is to reduce the time that is being taken in software development to software delivery. And the main goal of DevOps is to fulfill a software development model called Agile. Yeah, the main goal of DevOps is to fulfill the Agile software development lifecycle. Okay, and how we do that is all what we discuss in our regular classes, though. But remember, friends, there is a software development model called Agile, with which we are delivering. Our main goal is to deliver a product to the client faster, ensuring quality. So to fulfill these requirements, we adapted a software development model called Agile. However, there are challenges with Agile, and we were unable to fulfill these business requirements of Agile. That's where we started off adding, a culture in software development to release called DevOps. Yeah, DevOps is not a technology, dear friends. It is a culture. It is a practice. It's a set of rules and regulations that we adapt in software development to software release. That is where who should learn DevOps means, I would say anybody. Anybody can can learn DevOps, because it's not a technology. If it's a technology like, say, Java, you should be a very good at programming. If it's a technology like databases, should be very good at SQL queries and all that, right? But coming to DevOps, it is a culture that we adapt in software development to delivery, and our main goal is to deliver a product to the client faster, ensuring quality. Right. Alongside with that, of course, we got to add cost-effective nature, cost-effective solutions, and reduce the outages. We got to focus on these business requirements to get a cost-effective solution, and make sure that once you deliver a software to the client, ensure that the application of the client is always running. One part of the story is develop a software faster and deliver it. And the second part of the story is, once you deliver a software to the client, ensure that the software that you deliver to the client is always running. Yeah, the application of the client should always run. And how you do that is the second part of the story. Yeah, friends. So now let's get back to the slide. DevOps is all about we implementing some solutions to reduce the SDLC time and deliver a product to the client faster. Okay. Now, how do we do that? How do we do that? We know that there is an approach called DevOps, but how do you implement that? Means by adding these three factors called automation, communication, and collaboration. By enabling automations, communications, and collaborations. And take a look at this icon, friends. DevOps. You find whenever you look at DevOps, you find this logo, right? There are 8 major stages involved in DevOps. Code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. Yeah, hi, Dinesh. Yeah, please go ahead. Well, Dinesh, we already discussed about waterfall. Sorry, I think you joined a bit late, and yeah. Actually, yeah, we discussed all this and we came this far, Dinesh. We are now talking about DevOps. No problem. Yeah. Anyways, our management, they'll forward you the recorded session, Dinesh, so that the missing part you can go through. Yep. Okay, so friends, have a look here. What we discussed so far, when we are adapting agile software development, we are not developing a whole product to the client at a time, but we are developing and delivering a product to the client in incremental fashion. Now, let's say if Dinesh is my client, and if I got to develop an application software to my client Dinesh, but Dinesh gave me 100 requirements. He said, "Hey Prashant, I need a software with 100 features." Now, what am I doing when I'm adapting Agile? I'm breaking those 100 requirements into multiple time boxes this way. I'm not developing a whole software to my client at a time, but I'm breaking that application of my client into multiple, time boxes, which we call them as sprints. Okay, and each time slot is assigned with a duration called a sprint that ranges between 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Okay, a sprint duration ranges between 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Now I'm asking Dinesh, "Hey Dinesh, what are your priorities?" Yeah, I know you need 100 requirements, but what are your priorities to start your business faster? And let's say Dinesh gave me some 10 priorities. "Hey Prashant, I'm expecting these as the most prioritized features. I want a software with those 10 features within a very short time frame." Now, my development team, or in my organization, when I'm adapting DevOps, we plan for these 10 features. And our development team, they write code for those 10 features. Followed by that, we take those 10 features through a process called a build process and create a software product. Okay, a build creates a software product, and that software product we deploy into a test environment, and a test team, they test that software and identify if there are any challenges. Again, the developers write code. Again, we perform a build. Again, tests do happen, and again, the tests are not satisfactory. Again, this is a process that keeps on happening until test team, they ensure that the application is fine. Then we are taking it to the release channel, where we take this application to various platforms like dev platform, UAT platform, and finally to the production platform. Right? Tests once done, we are not delivering a product directly to the client. We should again, impose a lot more tests on this application. So that's what we deploy this application into a dev environment where some sort of tests do happen again. UAT, user acceptance testing, and then we deploy the application into production environment, meaning to the client we are delivering it. And we operate that application, and we constantly monitor that application, because we got to ensure that the application of the client is always running. Okay, now done. All this should happen within a matter of 2 weeks to 4 weeks. And next, we are beginning off with the second iteration. Now, Dinesh gave second set of priorities. "Hey Prashant, I need 5 more priorities." Now, what we are doing, again, we are repeating the same process. Plan for these 5 features, write code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. And we are adding this to the existing application. So this way, Dinesh's application, for every sprint release, what's happening, his application is dynamically growing. Yeah. And friends, this is no new concept. We've been experiencing this in our mobile phones on a daily basis. Say, for example, if you are using Snapchat, right? If you're using Snapchat, once in every couple of days, you're asked to update your Snapchat application or Instagram and so on. When you update a software, what happens? Some of the features that are not useful, they're removed, and you find some new features getting added to your existing applications. Right? For every update that you do, what's happening? Some new features are getting added to your application. Like, I don't know how many of you noticed of the recent times, phone pay. Are you not finding the interface of phone pay changed? Phone pay is now updated with a new features and with a new interface, right? So once you update any software, what's happening? Some of the features that are not useful, they're getting removed, and new features are getting added. The same concept here in agile methodology too, but we are doing this entire process by enabling automation, because this process is getting repeated over and over again for every increment. There's the third increment, the same process we follow. Next comes the fourth increment, the same process we follow. And friends, what happens if you're asked to do a job repeatedly over and over and over again? You get super frustrated, isn't it? Right? You get super frustrated. So that's where now to relieve from your frustration, rely on automation, set an automation. That's it. The automation will take care of doing the activities over and over and over again. So this is one key element we got to add in our DevOps journey. And the second is communication. Communication, very important, very crucial. Enable proper communication because what we discussed it before, proper coordination between the teams is leading to a disaster of delivering a product to the client. So enable a proper communication between the teams that are involved in the software development to release. So we do that. We set a proper communication channel between development teams, QA teams, pre-production, or developers. I'm sorry, my bad. The project managers, DevOps engineers, and so on. We enable a proper communication, and followed by that, collaborations. Followed by that, we enable proper collaboration between all these various aspects. Planning is one part, is another part, building is another part. Now all these sections should integrate. We got to enable a proper integration all these platforms, and collaborations. Okay. Now if you set a proper DevOps pipeline, what happens? Let's see. Developers write code and they publish all their code into some version controlling platform. I think this might be new to you, or maybe if you're working professional, you already know some information about GitHub. So what is GitHub, friends? Now, when developers write code, let's say in my organization, there are 3 developers who are writing code for a software. Let's say a calculator software I should develop and deliver it to my client. Now, developer 1 is writing code for addition and subtraction. Developer 2 is writing code for multiplication and division. And developer 3 is writing code for, modulus and percentage, or let's say square root, something like that. Now, developer one's code is not forming a full calculator. A developer two's code is not creating a calculator. All their code integrated together forms a calculator software. All their code brought together forms a calculator code. So that's where now these developers, they should bring all their code into one unified platform, and that platform we call it as a version controlling platform. And yeah, friends, so there are platforms like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, Bitbucket, GitLab. These are the platforms where developers publish their code. Once they bring all their code unified into one platform, from here, we got to set and perform a bunch of activities. What are they? We bring that code and we perform an activity called a build activity, which is comprised of all these activities. Like the first one is compile the source code, convert the code from human readable format to machine readable format, run some unit test cases. Next, perform code analysis, code quality checks. Yeah, you got to perform code quality checks. Next, 4, identify whether the code is according to the coding standards or not. You set something called a quality gate here. Followed by that, scan the code or scan the application with a tool called Trivi. Next, package, create a software product. Yeah, you should perform all these activities and then you create a software product, a calculator software. Once the software is created, then what you do, you got to deploy that package into a dev environment, into a QA environment, into a UAT environment, and finally to the production environment. Right? You should deploy this calculator software into a dev environment where there are some additional tests that do happen, UAT, user acceptance testing, and finally to the production environment. Okay, but now, see, friends, this calculator software requires, let's say, Java 17. But on a dev environment, there is Java 21. On a UAT environment, there is Java, let's say, 8. And at production level, we got a blend, a mix, servers with various, Java versions. So what's happening? The application is not behaving as expected over all these platforms because the requirement is not matched anywhere. So this is where what we do is we got a concept called containers. I hope you heard about a tool called Docker. With the tool Docker, what we do is we containerize our application, meaning we package an application software along with its dependency. We package the application along with its dependency as an image, as a Docker image. And now from this software, I mean, from this Docker image, when you create a containerized application, no matter in which server you create a container application, everywhere your application runs absolutely fine. Similar to WhatsApp that we use in our mobile phones, YouTube in our mobile phones, right? Instagram. See, friends, across the globe, there are billions of users who are using these applications. Our hardware configurations are not the same. My mobile is different from your mobile, right? My operating system is different from your operating system. My hardware configurations in my mobile are different from yours. But all of us, what is common? We are all consuming these softwares like WhatsApp, Instagram. And how is it happening? How those softwares are yet working fine across all these various hardware and software, what's say, platforms? Means these companies, they made their softwares, compatible to any hardware type, compatible to any operating system type. That is where we are finding, this software is working absolutely fine across all our platforms. And to bring our application behave the same way, we are containerizing our applications with respective dependencies added into a Docker image. When you create a containerized application in any of the platform, the application works absolutely fine. No matter it's a Windows machine or a Linux machine or it's a CentOS operating system, everywhere your applications work absolutely fine. This is one more thing we as DevOps engineers, we perform. Yeah, friends. And all these activities we should automate. And how do we automate that? We'll see in our regular classes though. And ultimately, we ensure that we deliver a product to the client faster and no compromise in quality. Okay, without compromising at the quality level, we deliver the product to the client. And friends, for every process, let's say, for example, if you're attending an interview, you dress well, right? You comb your hair, you wear formal dress, shoe, right? That is a process. That is that's a process that we should follow. Similarly, when you do some activities like DevOps, software development release activities, when you're adapting DevOps, you should adapt these best practices: continuous development, continuous deployment, integration, infrastructure automation, testing, configuration management, delivery, monitoring, and security. These are all the features that you got to embed into this pipeline here down below. Planning, coding, building, testing, in all these areas, whatever the activities that you perform, you have to adapt all these best practices like continuous development, deployment, testing, configuration management, continuous delivery, monitoring, security, etc., etc. Excuse me. And how we do that, all we discuss in our regular classes though. Now, I want to give you one quick demo example, friends. Okay, before we before we wrap up for the day, I will I'll show you one quick live example. Let's assume, sorry. Let's assume a development team, they developed a software, tested it, reviewed it, and finally they delivered it to the client. And now we are we delivered the application to the client, and we got to ensure that the application of the client is always running. And how do we do that? Let's find out. Just a second, guys. I'll log in here real quick and. Okay, let me start. So just assume there is a software created, tested, reviewed, and finally it is out for delivery. Okay, it's a Docker-based application created, and it's out for delivery. Now I got to release that application to my client. Let's say this is this platform here. I'm going to create a server. Just assume this server is my client's production level server. I'm going to deliver a software. Okay, I'm going to release the software. Let me just go and say Docker run name travel. Let's say my client's application is a travel application. minus D minus P, let's say 70 map it to 80, and slash travel. Let me hit enter. Yeah, friends. So I'm delivering a product to my client. Okay. Now let's wait for a minute. It won't take much time. Just in a minute or two, it gets up and running. Perfect. So if I go click here, open port, and let me open port number 7070, you find a beautiful website up and running here. Okay, there's this e-commerce platform. It's a travel website, and down below, yeah, there are some breathtaking views. And here, customers, they can order. I mean, they place order for these what's the vacation locations here. Now, friends, this site should run all the time for this customer, for this client to do his business. And let's say at the production level, there is a challenge here. And what happened is the application that I deployed, it stopped. The application that I deployed, it stopped for some reason. Let's say server outage, let's say some storage outage, or maybe the server encountered a restart. And what happened? The application stopped. Now, customers, when they're visiting this website, it is no longer available to them. Let me just open in a incognito tab. Let's see. Is this application available? Nope. Continue to site. No, the application is not available. Now, what's happening? The customers of my client, they're reaching to another platform, let's say booking.com. Why so? When my platform is dead, my customers don't wait for me. They're reaching to another platform. And they're booking, let's say, from here. Meaning the downtime of your application is becoming a boon to your competitor, right? Your application is dead, you're losing your business, and at the same time, you are benefiting your your competitor to do better business. So this is not at all appreciated by any software, any client. So that's where now what should I do? I have to make sure when I deliver a product to my client, the application of my client should always run. The application of my client should always run. So that is where, friends, there is a concept called container orchestration. There is a subject called container orchestration in our DevOps journey, where what we do is, let me show you a quick demo here. See, friends, here what I do is, let me just Docker, what's this, swarm init dash advertise -addr 192.168.0.13. So guys, I believe you're not getting bored. My intention is just to give you some quick overview. If you're getting bored, I'll try to skip this discussion. Okay. So yeah, friends, now what I did is I imposed some superpower on this machine. And now I'm going to run again that application. Let me go and say Docker service create dash name svc1d -p. Let me go by running it on 8080 port mapper to 80. And let's say I'll share this link with you, friends, right now. So just let me know if you're facing, if you're able to open this application or not. Okay, let me share this in your chat window. Just update me if you're able to view this application or not. Okay, oops, just a second. Yeah, I added in the chat window. Are you finding this application? It's up and running. Yes, no, maybe. Yes. Yeah, friends, is it working for you? Yes, no. Now what I do is intentionally I'll go here and I'll kill it. Docker rm -f $. There's a quick command, docker ps -aq. This is one quick command that deletes all the applications in the server. But still, you find that application up and running. I deleted everything, but see, if I go and find this application gets immediately recreated. See, in 5 seconds, it got recreated. Again, I'll delete it. And again, within no time, I find that application getting recreated on its own. Meaning here I added a solution called self-healing capability. So so that what happens whenever a server, whenever an application dies, it immediately recreates on its own, and it gets up and running. Similar to what's a robo in Indian movie, right? So the robo assembles on its own, right? The same way here, the container, even you delete it, it gets recreated automatically, ensuring that the application of the client is always running. Now, one more challenge. What if the server is gone? What if the server got crashed? Now, the URL that I shared with you, it's not going to work anymore because the URL routes to a server, but that server is already gone. Now, how do we manage an application high availability? Means by adding or running that application in multiple servers, not on one single machine, but on multiple servers this way. I run an application in multiple servers so that if one of the server gets crashed from the other available servers, my application is still available. Right. So these are the activities that we should perform as DevOps engineers, dear team. Okay. And now coming to the discussion, I already gave you clarity that anybody can do DevOps because it is not a technology, it's a culture anybody can adapt to. Now, what are the prerequisites to learn DevOps? You should know these: Linux basics, shell scripting, and networking basics. You should know Linux concepts, shell scripting, and networking basics. These are the prerequisites. And the main challenge for every, aspirant who want to get into IT, the main challenge is you're scared of coding. Sir, is there coding? Is there a lot of coding? I would say, I don't say no, but there is a slight coding knowledge required. No deeper knowledge, just the basics of programming, like how to write a if condition, how to write a for loop. Right? Such basics are absolutely fine. Just the basics for coding is sufficient, and don't worry about a coding team because we are in the AI generation where you just go write a prompt and your required code is automatically generated by an AI tool. So we'll take full advantage of artificial intelligence if at all we need any coding. But trust me, 90% coding is not at all required in DevOps. Okay, and we keep exploring. We got to perform all these activities, right? In order to perform all these activities, plan, code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor, we need some tools. And these are the tools that we're going to explore one after another. First, we begin off with the prerequisites. I'll teach you Linux, shell scripting, networking basics, ensuring you're starting from scratch. And then I'll teach you Git and GitHub version controlling concepts. Then Maven, Nexus, Tomcat, SonarQube, Jenkins, and so on. There are around some 14 plus tools in our DevOps journey, and we keep exploring all of them in detail. Alongside with that, we perform all these activities over a cloud platform, either AWS or Azure or GCP. Yeah, because no one's managing their infrastructure in the on-premise environments anymore. All the companies are relying on cloud platforms. So we managed to perform all these activities over cloud platform by creating servers over the cloud. And that cloud is going to be your choice, whether it's AWS cloud or Azure cloud or Google cloud platform. Yeah, friends. But prefer to go by DevOps with AWS, or even we are offering multi-cloud platform. Prefer to go by DevOps with multi-cloud or DevOps with AWS cloud. You definitely find more job opportunities in these areas. Yeah, team. So we're going to share a complete detailed syllabus with you. You can give a try going through that syllabus, understand what are the concepts being covered in, and then you can reach out to a management. They'll help you in the enrollment process. Yeah, friends, any questions from the discussion so far? Any questions?
Sir, Prabhu here, sir.
Yeah, I'll take some questions and then we'll continue. Yes, Prabhu, here.
Sir, actually, basically I'm a mechanical engineer, sir. So, but I have almost 8 years of experience, as a technical specialist in, AWS. Sir. In the AWS, in the sense, I have almost 2 years of experience. So, if I learn this DevOps in the sense, I mean, I don't have any, basic coding knowledge also, but I have used Pythons and all, like for data science related stuffs. So I mean, can I mean, is it possible to learn this kind of technology, sir? I mean, DevOps, because I don't have any idea about this.
Yeah. Well, Prabhu. So obviously, it's not a big deal for you to learn DevOps concepts. But remember, let me get this thing up, friends. With a great determination, you should start your DevOps journey, because the challenge with DevOps is, as there are many tools, it's very much easy for you to deviate from one tool to another, and forget what's the past tool that you learned when you learn a new tool.
Okay. And one more question, sir. So actually in DevOps, a lot of tools are coming to the picture,
Okay,
like
so
GitHub.
it's very important for you to yeah, yeah, true. So
No, sir.
that's what. Make sure anybody can do DevOps, but that you got to get your basics correct. Followed by that, you got to make sure you have everything set up properly, like a laptop with basic network connection, and followed by that, you got to track your performance and update your skill on a daily basis. You should keep on practicing over and over and over again. Okay,
Okay.
and go in a structural fashion. First, you understand the prerequisites. Next, the basics part. Next, the intermediary concepts, and then dive into expert level concepts. Okay, this consistent learning path turns you a successful DevOps engineer. Okay,
Okay.
this is
Yes.
what is important, Prabhu. You got to prepare a mind map. You got to tune your mind and learn in a consistent fashion. That's very, very crucial.
Okay. Okay. Sure,
Yeah.
sir.
And to support you, I'll provide you with assignments, practice quizzes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And one more doubt. So
Uh,
what about the lab, sir? Lab, do you provide any access for lab and all?
yeah. A lab, it's your laptop, and you create some account, AWS account, and you practice everything. In the cloud. No need of
Okay. Okay. So no need
any
to install VMware and all, right?
laptop. Basic laptop is sufficient. Okay,
Okay.
you should have a proper network connectivity, and that's it. Nothing required. Not required. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for update.
Dinesh, yes, Dinesh. What's your question, Dinesh? Yeah. Dinesh? Yeah, Dinesh. Go ahead, Dinesh. Duration of the course, it takes 2 months of time, Dinesh. DevOps with AWS, it takes 2 months of time. There is again a multi-cloud DevOps. If you want to learn multiple cloud platforms, that may take 3 months of time.
Hey, Prashant, in between the Kubernetes and Docker, there is some codings, right? So, is it required a coding knowledge?
So just to keep things simple. So, friends, in this DevOps journey, I'm going to teach you once we're done with Linux concepts, shell scripting, and all that. I'm going to teach you Git and GitHub version controlling. During this Git and GitHub discussion, we are going to cover a platform called GitHub Copilot. Yeah, Microsoft Copilot is an AI tool. You can ask anything, but there is again, one coding assistant called GitHub Copilot. I'll teach you that. So when we learn GitHub Copilot, all your requirements, you just write a prompt here, and that's going to generate everything for you. Like, let's say, write a Kubernetes manifest for deploying Nginx application, something like that. When you write a prompt, it's going to write generate a manifest for you. Okay, so how to get the most out of your AI tools, I'll teach you that. So this is the entire prompt written by an AI tool. But instead of relying completely on an AI tool, we first, of course, I'll teach you everything basic, like what is an API version, kind, metadata, and all. But you don't find this much difficult when compared to the regular programming. Vijay, sorry, who asked this question? Vijay, right?
Yeah.
So you don't find it much difficult, like what say, like syntax challenges and all that.
Oh. Okay. Thank you, Prashant.
Because we mostly some of these platforms, and even there are some support tools like Helm charts, or there are some predefined templates. You just get them and use them. If you have that idea, that's fine. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So,
Yeah.
is
And,
there any project will be provided to work on it for this?
Yes. We do a project. That project, let me get it. One of the most prestigious project in what's it, DevOps world. It's called Open Telemetry. I'll teach you this project because it comes with multiple microservices. Okay, sorry, Open Telemetry. It's an e-commerce project, and we're going to explore this Open Telemetry project. Okay. I'll teach you how to create a sorry, somewhere here. Yeah, this one, Open Telemetry CNCF. It's an e-commerce platform, and we're going to explore this Open Telemetry project. It is written in multiple languages like .NET, C++, Go, and so on. Okay. This project, based on your requirement. Now, let's say if you got a job, if you are looking for an active job in, let's say, JavaScript, or they're expecting you to have a pretty good expertise over Java, you discuss about this ad service in your resume. You add more resolutions towards ad service of this Open Telemetry. If the project is expecting more on Python, you're going to go with Python microservices for this project. So this is one of the most prestigious project. We do it, and we relate it with any domain of your choice, like healthcare or shipping and logistics platform, etc. Yeah, friends. And other questions? Dinesh, did I answer your question? Yes, Dinesh. Sorry. Yeah, please go ahead, Dinesh. Is there any? Sorry, come again. No problem. We learn Linux. Linux, if you learn, what happens is one flavor of Linux, if you know, it's not a big deal for you to understand other flavors of Linux. Like say Ubuntu. Commands and the structure of Linux operating systems remain the same. CentOS, and mostly we deal with Ubuntu and Red Hat machines because in real time we mostly find Ubuntu and Red Hat. So we do examples mostly on Ubuntu and Red Hat based platforms. So other than that, you don't need any other Linux operating systems. Sorry, Dinesh. Sorry. Yeah, friends. Any other questions? Yeah, are we good, team? If no questions, let's call it a day and connect the next time. If you have any questions related to the fee structure or course curriculum stuff like that, just reach out to our management. They're going to help you and guide you in the enrollment process and so on. Yeah, that's all, friends, from my end for the day, and I'll see you in the next session then. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you.